The drive starts right now.
Starts right now. Just living the dream.
Here's a guy who gets paid to talk.
1, 2, hold it back, you know what I mean? 1, 2, 3.
Happy Wednesday. This is The Drive on 252 Fox Sports Radio, 107.5 FM, WWNB 1490 AM, worldwide, 252foxsports.com, or you can go to the TuneIn Radio app, which is free on your Google or Apple device. Just go to your app store, type in TuneIn Radio, download the app. Once you've done so, find the search feature, type in WWNB. Of course, you can go to tunein.com on your desktop as well. Same thing, search feature WWNB. Or how about this? If you got an Alexa device, simply ask Alexa to play WWNB. It's just that easy. You can find 252 Fox Sports on X, the artist formerly known as Twitter, but some people still call it Twitter. You can also find 252 Fox Sports on the Facebook. So, you can also find The Drive with Mark Panichelli as well, and that's me. I'm Mark Panichelli. Thank you so much. However you're joining us, wherever you're joining us, again, weekdays, 4 p.m. on 252 Fox Sports Radio. But you can also get us, as I mentioned, anytime on Facebook, or find The Drive with Mark Panichelli on YouTube as well. But again, very grateful. However you've arrived here, we're going to talk some high school sports, some West Craven Eagles sports. David Fernandez is going to join us, and we're going to talk certainly West Craven football, as they're going to be on the road this Friday against Farmville Central. They are also going to be in action Thursday, a busy Thursday. There's JV football at West Craven. The boys soccer team is on the road, but the Lady Eagles volleyball team that have gotten off to this fantastic start to the season, and they're 2-0 in the conference, 7-3 overall. So you can catch Carly Stilley, Sophia Sutton, and Danica Hurst and the West Craven Eagles volleyball team taking on North Johnston tomorrow. But we're going to talk about all that, as well as, if you didn't know, David Fernandez is a Kansas City Chiefs fan, and don't hold it against him. I know many of you are like, what are you talking about? That's my team, Chiefs for life, except for a few years ago when I had that Patriots jersey. Some of you are diehard Chiefs fans. Anyways, we're going to talk to David Fernandez as well, because he's a Kansas City Chiefs fan, and I'm an Eagles fan, and Eagles Chiefs this Sunday. It's going to say it is the Fernandez Panichelli weekend of rivalry. Because his Royals are also playing my Phillies this weekend in baseball. So we'll talk to him about college football, as we've got East Carolina, Coastal Carolina, Richmond at North Carolina, NC State and Wake Forest. Duke's taking on Tulane. We'll talk about all that, as well as William and Mary in Virginia, Clemson and Georgia Tech, and so much more. So much more. But actually, where I want to start off today, we're waiting for Coach Fernandez here, is last night. Oh my goodness. I've been waiting this for a while. And in fact, I saw the number. I think it was 40 at-bats I've waited for this. And listen, I know I probably do a whole lot of homeristic things, as they say, on this show, talking about my specific teams. But 50 home runs is a pretty big deal. Only well, look, let me just do this. I don't know. I still feel like this isn't just me being a Phillies homer. This was pretty big and pretty cool. And if you didn't see it, well, good news. Because I'm going to share it with you right now, because it was awesome.
This is the best thing. This is the best thing I saw last night. This is the best thing that I saw last night. The best thing that I saw last night.
Yeah, let me not waste, before I give you the numbers. Thank you, NBC Sports Philadelphia, courtesy. This will be the audio right here. Pretty good stuff. Fantastic stuff there, I say.
Waits on deck. Greg Farnese's locked in. 3-1. Fly ball, center field. It's hit deep. Out toward Monty's angle. It is number 50.
right. So Kyle Schwarber, first player in the National League this year to get to 50 home runs, and trying to make a bid to dethrone Shohei Ohtani off of that, the eventual National League Most Valuable Player award that they basically handed to him before the season started. I know I'm being a little bit of a homer, but incredible performance. He's only the second Philadelphia Philly to do it. Ryan Howard is the only other Philadelphia Philly to hit 50 home runs, but it is a pretty interesting feat. In fact, only 34 players or 32 players have actually hit 50 home runs in a season. I think it's 34 players have actually hit 50 home runs. And it's been done 52 times in Major League Baseball history, but sometimes same guy has hit multiple 50 home runs. But for whatever reason, Schwarber just continues to this is a career high for him. First time he's ever hit 50 home runs, but it feels like 40 at-bats between home run 49 and home run 50. It was long overdue in my opinion. I was thinking, my gosh, is he ever going to hit this 50th home run? But that, my friends, was by far the best thing I saw last night. Let's welcome Athletic Director for the West Craven Eagles, David Fernandez. And Coach, as always, thank you so much for taking some time to talk to me. Good afternoon.
Hey, Mark, how you doing today? It's always good to be on with you.
Oh, man. Well, just trying to get through. We've been blessed with this really bizarre fall-like weather, but I'm not going to complain about it. So give my air conditioner a little bit of break in the evenings. But other than that, yeah, just enjoying that. But a lot for us to discuss. I am excited, and as everybody, anybody that knows the two of us knows, at some point this conversation is going to end with the Eagles and the Chiefs. And so I'm really excited about that this weekend. And so we're going to talk about that. Some college football, though, I want to get with you. But let's start in talking some West Craven Eagles. And I'm actually going to start with the volleyball team, Coach, if you're okay with that. Because these girls, 7-3 to start the season, and which is, again, is a great start. 2-0 in the conference. I think they play again Thursday, right? North Johnston, another conference game. But again, this is a great start. Still a lot of volleyball left to play, but just a shout out to Coach Martin and a couple of those girls that I've been hearing about. I've been poking around and asking questions, and I hear about Danica Hurst and Carly Stilley and Sophia Sutton. So tell me a little bit about so far this starting. Again, going to hit the court again on Thursday against North Johnston in a conference game.
Yeah, Thursday, 6 o'clock, varsity action. We're 7-3. North Johnston's 7-2. We're having kind of a military appreciation night for the military and for veterans if they want to come out to the game. So, our volleyball team off to a hot start. Got a couple wins in conference under our belt already, so we're 2-0 in conference. And the trio that you mentioned are just kind of the leaders of the team right now. This team has kind of came together, Jill. They've been together all summer, all fall, had some spring workouts. Coach Martin's done a great job. He's re-added Caroline Tart to his staff as his assistant coach. She was the head coach a few years ago. So everything is just kind of falling into place for this team. They're real fun to watch, real exciting. I encourage people to come out, watch them play. And like I said, me and you talked about a few weeks ago, if you haven't given volleyball an opportunity to watch, man, come out and check it out. Even at our level, at the high school level, it's a fun game. It's intense. Football is probably a violent sport. You would say that, man. I don't know. I want to classify volleyball as violent, but man, it is intense. Those girls lock in, they go at it. This isn't no backyard beach volleyball. They'll blow up beach volleyball deal. This is some intense action, some competition, and the start that our girls are off to is 7-3. You're starting to set a little mindset of, hey, we kind of belong to be 7-3. Maybe a little bit better than that. We expect to win when we hit the floor. So that's just fun to see that evolution from our girls volleyball team.
Yeah, I want to. I don't know whether to thank you or to, give you a sort of tongue in cheek, because I've already got a ton of sports I follow. I'm kind of a little bit of a sports aficionado, and so there's so many things I dabble in from a fandom standpoint, and so yeah, you've called me or you called me out. Yeah, you got to check this out, and so now. What's happened is now I see there's games on after watching a couple. So I have guilty as charged, and so that's why I'm kind of excited. And I am gonna get out here and see these Eagles. And as you were talking about, this is probably a good game to get into. As you were talking about North Johnston being 7-2 and conference game as well. So those are the real stakes. All of the as we talk about in all sports, all these games are big, but boy, when you get in those conference games, that's really where it digs in, and that's again North Johnston again looks like one of the big opponents that and you gotta take advantage of these home games too. So for everybody listening, get out there. I that is actually my plan too. I'm hoping, but it's such a busy Thursday for me with everything going on. But so one, thanks a lot. You've given college volleyball into me, and now and then I've got this Thursday conundrum with NC State's in action against Wake Forest. The NFL's back with Thursday night football, and then Phillies and Mets are going on, and now West Craven plays North Johnston. So thanks a lot. It's going to be a pretty busy Thursday for me, Coach.
Oh yes, it's going to be a busy Thursday out here too. There's 3 undefeated volleyball teams in our conference. 2 of them are going to be on display tomorrow night here with West Craven and North Johnston. So it's a first place kind of showdown.
Yep.
But we're also hosting JV football at 6 o'clock outside too, out at Jordan Stadium. So it's a double whammy, same ticket, gets you in both events. But we've got 2 events going on at home. You can come take your pick, go back and forth. Be a fun night out here at West Craven.
Yeah, so you got JV going on, or if let's say you're coming, or maybe you're in that Highway 70, Kinston area, the boys soccer team is actually going to be at South Lenoir on Thursday. So the program, all of the athletic program in general, going to be busy on Thursday. But road trip, they're 1-6 to start the season. So. If you're like, if people are listening, again, check out the soccer team as well, and it all leads to Friday, of course, and a road game. You mentioned the JV game on Thursday, but again, Farmville Central is going to be that road team, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But a busy week of sports for sure. But let's go back to and recap a little bit of last week. A tough loss for West Craven. What was a competitive game? Had multiple lead changes, including a couple in the second half. But again, I kind of go back to that mantra where I was talking about the volleyball team. Again, the conference games are most important, but I think overall, you're not going to be happy about the outcome. You don't want to lose games for sure, but there were certainly moments of, again, where West Craven competed really well. It's again, I'm not trying to pass out any moral victories. Tough loss, as I said, but when you compare it to last year's contest, where it was a little more one-sided with the injuries West Craven was going through last year, again, a little better showing. Just unfortunate that couldn't hold on to that momentum they seemed to have early in the third quarter.
No, tough loss, in-county rival. That put us at 1-1 if there is a Craven County championship. Congratulations to New Bern, and they beat us and Havelock. But it was a tremendous night in Jordan Stadium, one that we haven't seen in the last few years. That the crowd was tremendous for both sides. The New Bern fans obviously showed up. The West Craven fans showed up. It was a great atmosphere for a high school football game on a Friday night. And like you said, we had the lead 21-20 in the third quarter and just kind of no excuses, but just kind of ran out of gas. And New Bern was able to put a couple more scores on the board than us, but we couldn't be more proud of the way our kids played the game. The hard fought effort. We know we're kind of against, behind the 8 ball in that kind of matchup, the 7A, 4A type thing. We talked about that last week, but the effort our kids gave on the field, the leadership from our coaches, we couldn't be more proud of our brand and our style of football. And we thought that was on display Friday night. And, it's a non-conference game. You regroup a little bit. Coach Twitchell has the focus of our kids on the Farmville Central Friday night. And, we look to go back out there Friday night, put on another good showing, because I don't think that anything would be expected less from our program or for the coaches.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll say this too. There's a couple of things to look at. And again, it's a non-conference game now, but there's a couple of things going into this Farmville Central game. Road game. Those are always, again, within the program, you try to treat it like a business trip, but it's a little tougher to make the trip and win home, especially this Farmville Central team. Ron Cook's team last week beat a D.H. Conley team 29-26 that had just gone up to Northeastern and won. So that's an attention grabber there. But I'll say in the positive end of this, while it's a non-conference game, the familiarity between the two schools in recent years, I think may be helpful, especially when you're talking about competing in that, again, against a program that you have some familiarity with. It's not going to be necessarily an entirely new venue, right? So in spite of this year being a non-conference game, again, you take that positive, but it's going to be a battle, because this Farmville Central team looks pretty good coming in at 2-1.
No, they definitely do. And, there is some familiarity there. We've got a couple wins in a row here against Farmville Central, being in their conference. And we just felt like, Coach Twitchell, Coach Cook, great guy. They felt like we wanted to continue this series, even though we're not in the conference anymore. Yeah. Great spirited competition, great games the last couple of years. And, just two teams, they're very similar. And so we're looking for a good game Friday night. We encourage, and I don't really even have to say it, but we encourage our hashtags on social media are Eagle Nation and Rise Above. We encourage our fans to go out there Friday night over to Farmville, support our kids. I don't really have to say that, because our community does that anyway every Friday night. But we really appreciate them. We appreciate them coming to the games all the time. And so our kids thrive off of that, need that, and enjoy that, putting on a display for them. So it should be a very fun-spirited competition, fun-spirited game, close, only about 45 minutes down the road. And, Coach Twitchell does a great job preaching to our kids, trying to go 1-0 every week. We play good teams. And, man, if this ain't another one, I mean, they're off to a 2-1 start. Just at the high school level, you don't know what you get week in and week out. But, this Farmville team seems to be, if I'm not mistaken, maybe you know better than me, I think they put about 30 points up a night the first three games so far this year. And I think our defense is one of the best in the area, if not the best in the area. So, it should be just a high quality, good football game Friday night. And, we'll see how it goes, but we expect good results.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, I think it's going to be a great game. And yeah, they've come out, the only loss this season so far was against the South Central team. And we know that they're in a little bit. Again, I was impressed with the win last week. And I know, again, as you were talking about, Ron Cook does and Coach Twitchell and Coach Cook would definitely know one another, and you kind of know what you're going to get. It's why you schedule a team like that, because you know you're going to get a good quality opponent. And so again, it should be good. And as you were saying, I'm echoing the make the trip, support the Eagles, and be out there in Farmville. It's not a long trip for sure. And of course, we're going to have coverage on 107.5 or on 252 Fox Sports, or as everybody's favorite is, because everybody's got an Alexa device now, and it's the easiest thing. You can just simply ask Alexa to play WWNB, and you can listen to the game live there. Of course, find us on Facebook and YouTube, links on our social media as well, 252 Fox Sports on X or Twitter, whatever they're calling it. It's X now, I think. But anyways, I'm showing my old manness there, but definitely looking forward to the game and excited, as I said. Should be a really, really good one for sure.
Yes, it should be. It's 7:00 Friday night over there at Farmville, $10 admission. And with 9/11 being tomorrow, I'm pretty sure Coach Williford, the athletic director over there, mentioned to me they're having some kind of military appreciation theme too. So, we all love and respect our military, especially out here in Eastern North Carolina. So, just one more opportunity if you're a veteran or a military member or just a fan, come out and salute the troops, that protect us every day too. And it just happens to be, around high school football Friday night too. So should be a fun one over there Friday night.
Yeah, I am looking forward to it. So, all right, let's and again, looking good. And keeping my eye on Eagles. Let's talk about Eagles in college football for a minute, because I want to pick something that I, and again, if who cares? I'm wrong. People may forget it by next week, Coach. Right? But Georgia Tech is unranked and 2-0 and going to host 12th ranked Clemson on Saturday. And so, I'm going to, and I know Clemson's had some troubles in Atlanta from time to time. It's not always an easy place to play. And again, I think they've done a great job at revamping things at Georgia Tech. So I know it's a weird place to start, especially when I've got, the Wolfpack and the Deacons on Thursday, but with the rooting interest being a little West Craven as well, I'm telling you, I'm going to pick this upset. I think Georgia Tech's going to upset Clemson on Saturday in Atlanta. Am I crazy?
Man, it would be a fun one. It would be a fun one, especially for our guy, Ray Manley down there, who I think, I hear from Coach Twitchell about him all the time that, he was a character when he was here. He was such a fun kid in everything he did. So we're just tickled to death that he's having the success he's having and the opportunities that he's having. So for us over here in Eagle Nation to see that kind of upset would be big because we know Braden somehow will be a big part of that. He just always is. So, he's getting playing time down there at Georgia Tech. So, I don't know. You think if it's a crazy prediction, but for us selfishly, it would be fun to see.
All right. Well, I'm going to take credit for it if it happens here. You ready? Everybody said, hey, you heard it here. I saw Clemson struggle with Troy last week. So this is what's kind of opened the door for me. And now they're going to be on the road. So, we'll see. We'll see. But it's a great week. So I think about let's see, our other West Craven folks, William and Mary at Virginia. Like, that should be a get-right game for the Cavaliers after what was a good game against NC State. I was talking last week about that game with you last week, and it turned out to be back and forth and a lot of fun. And but now Virginia again after that loss, I think this is one of those get-right games. And again, Kazim Moore looked pretty good. Unfortunately for his Cavaliers, again dropping that game against the Wolfpack. But as I said, I'm pretty confident there's a good chance the Tribe. I think, are they still the Tribe at William and Mary? I hope I didn't. I don't know. A lot of these, the name changes. I think they are, but I think whoever they are, both William and Mary, you got to use that joke every time they play. I think they're both going down on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, Kassim, man, he had a nice game over there in Raleigh on Saturday, and we're proud. We're proud of him too. It was right there, 35-31, if I'm not mistaken. So it's a hard fought game over there. Hopefully they'll bounce back. They should. Me, I'm a power 4 guy, so should be no excuse for them. Getting back in the win column this week for Kassim, and then I'm sure you're gonna get to it next. CJ, we're proud of him too. And, Carolina took care of business over there in Charlotte and, got Belichick's first win. I think we talked about how would Carolina football react last week if they went over there and didn't. So, our Eagles, and then Eagles are they're flying high right now, at the college level. And, just can't overestimate enough how proud we are of those guys and what they're doing and representing our program back here in Vanceboro. At a high level, high character wise too. And we appreciate them for everything they've done and being on display every Saturday.
All right. Now for the local peoples, if you haven't looked at your schedules yet, I almost said schedule. I was watching some British television. Please pardon me. Anyways, we've got Duke is at Tulane Saturday. That's a tough place to play, and we'll see. But again, we got Wake Forest and NC State on Thursday, which again both of those teams have gotten off to 2-0 starts. This will be by far Wake Forest's toughest game of the year. And then you just mentioned the Spiders of Richmond going to Chapel Hill And yeah, come on, they got to win, right? You got to think, anyways. And then ECU, Coastal Carolina, which is again not an easy place to play. They struggled. Virginia handled them pretty well, and for ECU, a Saturday night game at 7:30. Which one of those is the most interesting to you? If you had to pick one to watch, which one?
Man, I'm going to stay local. I'll homer here a little bit. I think East Carolina and Coastal Carolina ought to play every year. They ought to just lock that in and play that game every single year. Too close to, Coastal Carolina's had good success here as a program lately. That's always fun. And it's always fun if the Pirates can stay competitive and win because, being so close right down the street, a huge fan base right here. And so anytime your fan base can stay positive, and that usually comes along with winning, it just makes the whole community, a little bit more funner being around sports. So I kind of like that matchup. I'll keep my eye on that one, but I'm also keep my eye on that Duke one just because they're down the street a little bit. Duke going to Tulane. Tulane's 2-0. And if I'm not mistaken, their coach felt, whoever it was a couple of weeks ago, Northwestern was it maybe, disrespected the city of New Orleans and ran his mouth a little bit about that or something. So I'm just kind of curious to how Tulane, handles being 2-0. And, some people are saying that might be the dark horse for the college football playoff team, from that non-power forward group. So that'll be an interesting one to watch.
Yeah. Then you got so there's two games that involve top 25 teams like that where you've got ranked teams playing each other. And one of them does jump off. You're like, wow, South Florida. Again, the USF had that big upset win. For a lot of people, thought it was an upset. They're now number 18 in the country, and they're going to take on their in-state foes, Miami. And everybody feels like the Hurricanes are back. That's a Saturday game. And then there's Texas A&M, who are 16th, and then they are at Notre Dame, who's still, again, looking for their first win of the year after going 0-1. It's always bizarre to see a team ranked in the top 10, and we're heading into, what is this, week 3 in college football, and they haven't gotten a win yet. But this is, and quite frankly, it's going to be even more strange because I can't, you know the history of this. If Notre Dame loses, they still might not fall out of the top 25, depending on how the game plays out, right? If Texas A&M and Notre Dame's a pretty tight game and it goes back and forth, they could start week 4 0-2 and still be in the top 25. And that it's a little unfair to a lot of other teams, I think, because most teams that start 0-2 aren't going to stay in the top 25. But most teams don't have the air quotes reputation, right? Like Notre Dame. So those are the two big national games. Are any interest there for you?
Yeah, I think the coach at Notre Dame does a great job. He's hard not to root for. But you're right. Notre Dame, they're kind of the team everybody loves to hate unless you love them. But that should be a good one. You're right. 0-2, they're not going to drop out of top 25. I think, they've got a great team. That's probably why everybody thinks Miami's back by beating them. But that Notre Dame team's pretty darn good too. So that'll be interesting to see. But shoot, man, right down the road, I know you're a college sports guy. South Carolina and Vanderbilt, 2-0 and 2-0, like that. SEC matchup right there. Everybody's talking about Florida and firing Billy Napier and all that.
Yes.
Well, all they got is third-ranked LSU. At LSU. So that's another good college football game.
I cannot see. Yeah. And I'm so sorry. There are 3 games and one really jumps off at you because it's an SEC game. It's Georgia, Tennessee. So
Georgia, Tennessee and Knoxville. I mean, that one, wow. That's another good one. It's why people love this type of year. They love college football. They love sports. And man, if this weather will just stay like this for a few more days, it just adds to that atmosphere and everybody's good. It's interesting. This is a sports show. It just shows you what sports can do for you. What sports does to our society, to a community. You don't have to. I don't like Notre Dame. I don't like Florida or LSU, but I'm gonna have them on television. I mean, how do you not watch it? Like the competition level, the fun. It's just what sports does in our society. And kind of backtrack to why you have me on this show. Like, it's all the grassroots levels down here, academically, educationally based sports at our level and how that flourishes and is the grassroots for what we see on television all the time. So it's just, it's fun to watch, fun to be a part of, and this is a fun time of the year.
Yeah, I agree. And yes, if the weather stays like this, it'll actually be fall, and then we will remember the fall that started in August, and it would be glorious. I'm all for it because it's my favorite time of year for so many reasons. Now, Coach Fernandez is a Big 12 guy, and last week we were talking about the big Kansas-Missouri game, and he's trying to get me to just not talk about that, I'm sure, but it's okay. Missouri is now ranked, so there's a couple things. One, so now are you glued in on Pitt, West Virginia, which again is a classic? I'm a longtime football fan, so the history of this series and some of the great battles they've had. So look, I'm gonna check out a little bit of Pitt, West Virginia, as I do every year. But for you specifically, West Virginia is Kansas's next opponent. So it's a two-part question. How much are you watching of Pitt, West Virginia? And secondly, now, do you have to root for Missouri so that they stay in the top 20 so that looks like a quality loss, as they call it, which is weird. You can't root for Missouri. What kind of weird stuff is that?
Man, my guy Kelly Millington over at the YMCA will have my back on this one. You don't ever root for Missouri if you like Kansas. So they can go 0 and whatever the rest of the time, and we'll be fine with it. But they won the game. They, that little border war, they got some bragging rights for another year. So more power to them. That was a disappointing game, but we'll bounce back. Kansas football, I think, is pretty good this year. But, yeah, that border war, West Virginia and Pitt, that backyard brawl, that's always a good one. And so it goes back to my point I made a few minutes ago. Man, how do you keep these games off your television screen? You always watch them. No, that'll be a fun one. And the Big 12, I'll admit it, it's behind the SEC and it's behind the Big 10, but it's between the Big 12 and the ACC to fight for who's that next spot. So, I'm in ACC country. I got a guy. Got a guy yesterday brought me an ACC conference polo shirt. Wants me to wear it around, so I'll do it in respect to him. But we're an ACC country, so but it's fun. Sports is fun. College football is fun, and dang, there's games everywhere this weekend if you really want to watch them.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, and again, I've been an ACC guy and have been on an active member for many years. I'm not now. Stepped down from the Atlantic Coast Sports Media Association to covering the ACC and voting on all their stuff for so many years. But yeah, love the stuff. And okay, so I'm gonna fade out of this with one last college football / and then into college basketball, and then we'll go to NFL. But okay, so Wisconsin plays Alabama this week in football, and Wisconsin's got a fairly decent football program over the years. They've been in the top 20 every now and then. They're quality stuff. Now, we know Alabama's had a step down. How they will really panic if Wisconsin pulls off some sort of upset. Just the thought of that, I just want to put that out in the world. But secondly, I saw today that Alabama basketball got their second top 50 basketball prospect, Coach. Is Alabama now officially a bigger basketball? And their basketball program has been really good in recent years, but is this a weird transition where the basketball program is more of a national power than their football program is? What? That's a weird thought to have, that Alabama basketball just above Alabama football in any time in the history. Although, was it Gene Kading? I was trying to remember the old coach that had a couple of good years there, but that might be the Purdue guy. I'm trying to think. But,
Purdue. He was Purdue.
Yes. They did have a guy, though. I remember he had a bad sports jacket, which I know is every coach from the 70s. But nonetheless, I'll turn it over to you. Alabama football / basketball. What's the bigger program now?
Man, I root for coaches. Alabama football I think it's a 20.5-point favorite over Wisconsin this weekend. So hopefully they can get that thing back right. Because Kalen DeBoer, he seems like a great guy. Everything you watch on him. Would really like to see him have some success at Alabama. But to answer your question, I like that some of these Power 4 schools have made a commitment to both, to be good at both, to not just try to be one way or the other. You could argue Carolina is a basketball school, and then they go out and get perhaps the greatest coach of all time in Bill Belichick. Now all of a sudden the football program You got Michael Jordan going to football games. So they're trying to become a complete school. And then Alabama here with their recent success. I met Nate Oates back in the Final Four back in the spring, and he was just a tremendous guy. Very fun to joke with. To see Alabama basketball be where it's at, along with football, good for the sport, good for college sports, good for the fan bases. Selfishly for me, like you mentioned, I'm a Kansas fan. Bill Self, couple national championships.
Mm-hmm.
We're a quote unquote basketball school. The commitment we've made to football. I mean, we've got a brand new stadium. Lance Leipold's done a great job. Our football program is right there. So just to watch schools now try to be multiple, to have not just the focus on one thing is huge. And, Nebraska, I'm kind of a pseudo Nebraska fan right there. Football school, obviously, man, their volleyball program is right there. So just being able to have multiple things, I can relate to that because that's what we try to do down here at the high school level is, we don't, a lot of people say, well, West Craven football school. Well, I run into alumni all the time. Hey, we're not just a football school, we're this school, we're that school. Like to have all your sports be good, it's good for business, it's good for the bottom line, but man, it's just so good for morale, so good for students, so good for the community, alumni. I don't know if that answers your question or not.
No,
but schools that I don't really know. Is it the NIL era? Is it it might be more of the social media era because with all these different sports networks, you can pick up almost every game and every sport you want on every single night. So now there's that opportunity. I might not have been able. I'll selfishly just say, let's keep ECU. I might not have been able to watch an ECU volleyball game 5 years ago playing down at Tulane. I can do it today sitting in my living room.
Yeah.
And so, it just exposes so much more. Now, all of a sudden, those sports are making a little bit more money because more people are watching them and that kind of thing. So now they got the resources to go out and be a little bit better. So, just get right back to the more sports you can be good at, the funner it is for everybody. And it's just, I think you ask an interesting question. Why is that now? Why is it that some of these schools are now taking more sports seriously or having the opportunity to be good at multiple sports? That's something to think about and come back to in a couple of weeks.
Interesting. Yeah. All right. So, and by the way, Wimp Sanderson was the coach I was trying to think of. You'd have to go way back though. That's some old school, but yes. All right. So this week I was noticing and even more so, because, I looked and I saw that obviously Eagles and Chiefs are playing this week. And of course, Coach Fernandez is a Chiefs fan and I am an Eagles fan. And that is the Super Bowl. We've talked a couple times about it. I was shocked, and I didn't know if you realized this too, but so these two teams have 150 combined years of professional football. I'm a little bit of a small football historian, and so the Eagles started in 1933. The Chiefs, again, started as the Dallas Texans in 1959. First year was 1960. Moved to Kansas City in 63 to become the Chiefs. So, in all of that time that these two teams have existed, they've only played 12 times. 12 times. That is bizarre. The first meeting was in 1972. And again, remember for years, again, that I remember now 10 of the years is the AFL. So the AFL and NFL didn't play each other. They were actually rival leagues. And then they decided to have this game called the Super Bowl. But before the merger, it just seems bizarre that of all those times, again, it's one of the fewest played series in all of the NFL when you take out all the newer teams, the recent expansion teams. But only 12 times. And how about this? 6 wins for each team. So we were talking about a tiebreaker for the Super Bowl, I think a couple of weeks ago. It's out of the 12 games that they've played so far, this will be the 13th meeting, and each team has won 6 games in the history. That, again, dates back to 1972. I just was a little taken aback that there's only been that few games.
Yeah, that's surprising. But I guess when you look at AFC, NFC, probably just haven't had the opportunity to match up the way the NFL schedules things. But kind of weird that we're playing right after the Super Bowl, but should be a fun game, an exciting game. You got, I guess we can't really call it the Kelsey Bowl anymore now that Jason's not playing. So probably the Andy Reid Bowl a little bit, with his history with Philadelphia. It's going to be interesting. If Kansas City can't pull this one out, you better look out in Kansas City because the bottom's going to fall out from the fan base. But Philly's coming in. I think they've won 5 of their last 6 road games. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Nick Sirianni and Andy Reid are the 2 highest current winning percentage coaches in the league. Yeah. And I think that's true about the 2 quarterbacks too, Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes. I think they're the 2 highest winning percentage current starting quarterbacks in the league. So, and Philly came in 2 years ago and won this game. So it should be fun. I know Arrowhead's going to be rocking and rolling, especially after starting out 0-1. It's going to be a fun game. Me and you got a little rivalry back and forth with it, with Philly, Kansas City. Yeah. But, it's a national game. It'll be a fun one. And it just, 2 rabid fan bases, 2, Kansas City's 0-1. It kind of didn't look real good at all last Friday night. And then you got Philly at 1-0. And then you got maybe the spit gate, I guess. That guy's going to play Sunday. So I think there's a lot of – I'll say what a lot of Chiefs fans will say. If there was a Chiefs player, would he be playing Sunday? I'm not sure about that one. But it makes for good, good television, good rivalries, good fun. But in the NFL – 1 week at a time in the NFL, there's a lot of games, but man, it's from Kansas City's fans' perspective, after an 0-1 start, this one just seems like it's a huge one, and it's going to be against a really good opponent in Philadelphia. So it's going to be fun, a little nerve-wracking, but I'm sure you and I will do a little trash talking behind the scenes on the phone.
Respectfully, for sure. But and I don't know about you, I'm kind of mad that the 4-letter didn't put Royals Phillies on Sunday night baseball. Like, I feel like because they're starting that game at 1:30, the baseball series, the Sunday game will be at 1:30. And the Royals are still trying to chase down that wild card in the American League. Phillies are trying to wrap up the NL East. I can justify, and it's Eagles-Chiefs Day. It feels like, why not, right? On the day, let's just have it all on. Fox is going to have the Eagles and Chiefs at 4:25 on national television. So why not 4-letter network? Why would you not elevate Royals-Phillies to Sunday night baseball? Because that's my plan on Sunday, to be honest with you. Those are going to be. There's no doubt I'm going to be right there for both of those. But how are you feeling about that for your Royals before we go back to the Eagles-Chiefs? How are you feeling about it right now?
I watch every single game. I've got the little MLB package for the Royals, but we're 4 games out of the wild card right now, and I think maybe this slow start to this road trip, I think maybe our season is kind of ended. I don't know if we can overcome a 4-game outside the wild card right now by 4 games. I just don't know we can overturn that. Lost 2-0 last night to Cleveland, so it just kind of I think our season might be a little bit over. But you never know. Maybe we can catch fire right here at the last moment and make something happen. But
we still got we got 16 games. Coach, come on, 16 games. That's a lot. A lot can happen in 16 games.
It can, and I'm wishful, and I'm a hardcore, and I'm still flying the Royals flag on the front porch. But it's, sometimes you just got to be realistic, and you see the product and the way it's kind of been up and down this year. And it's just kind of like we're close, but maybe not close enough. But just like you say, you still got about 15, 16 games left, so something could happen. Yeah. But we're going to need it, and if it's going to happen, why not be against your Phillies this weekend? Because that would be doubly sweet between me and you.
Well, look, as long as we clinch the East, the National League East, and if somehow that works, where the Mets, I don't think we can clinch it. I think our magic number is 9. I don't even think Major League Baseball recognizes anything until you're at 5 anyway. So, but hey, look, whatever helps, it's okay. I still feel like. No, I don't want to say things like that. I don't want to get overconfident. There's too much baseball left. I have been burnt before, but I'll say this: for the Eagles-Chiefs, I'm glad this game in Kansas City's in September and not in November, December. Good gracious, because while Philadelphia is not unaccustomed to cold weather, there's cold weather and then there's Kansas City cold weather. That's a whole different thing. So, as you well know. So
you're not kidding about that one. There is certainly a difference. People think I'm crazy all the time to tell them out here, man. I'm waiting for snow days. I love snow days out here. And everybody's like, no, we don't want them. But we don't get them very often. And that's fine, too, because I remember a couple years ago, Christmas Day, wearing shorts out in the yard. So there's some advantages to being in Eastern North Carolina, that's for sure.
There are absolutely, and that is one of them. Is that now? And again, that doesn't explain whatever's going on right now with the weather. But I've learned over the years, you just don't question good things. That was the old saying.
Yep.
Don't look a gift horse in the mouth or whatever. You should just say thank you and move on with with the rest of your day. So let me before we wrap up, and again, you're right, Eagles Chiefs. I'm definitely ready for that. We'll definitely talk back and forth. But let's circle back to reminding everybody that Thursday is, yes, September 11th. There'll be obviously a lot of folks remembering, of course, the horrific tragedies of September 11th. But as you were talking about military appreciation, things going on. And so I want to go back to that as you were talking about Thursday at West Craven High School. You can go catch this incredible game with the West Craven volleyball team. These girls have been gotten off to a great start, 7-3. They're going to take on a 7-2 North Johnston team, and then there's JV football going on at home as well with Farmville Central going to be there. So and again, military veterans. Let's talk about that real quick too. Circle back to that and remind everybody you can get tickets. And again, what is this site? I keep forgetting. You're good at this. Let me just turn it over to you, and you get people where they need to be.
No, you're right. Thursday night, September 11th, tomorrow, JV football at 6. That huge volleyball game in Jones Gym at 6 o'clock. Also, $10 tickets. GoFan is the electronic website you can go to get them, or you can purchase them with cash at the door. Our soccer team's going to hit the road to South Lenore tomorrow night. And then football Friday night, $10 tickets over there at Farmville Central. We would love Eagle Nation to get out and to support all three of them to the best of your ability. Come out and cheer on the kids and show, what the community, how they can rally around our student athletes. We challenge you to get out there, but Eagle Nation doesn't really need the challenge. They show up anyway. So it'll be a full next couple of days. Again, that game, though, is on the road Friday. Is on the road. At Farmville Central on Friday night. But come out, support. We'd love to have you. And as always, Mark, man, we appreciate what Fox Sports 252 does for us with our live streaming of the games and have all our football games, on Facebook and all that and on the radio. So we appreciate everything you do.
Yes. Well, thank you. Because I really do appreciate it. And yes, I was going to say, yes, remind everybody, don't, it's Friday. It's on the road, not a home game. Please plan accordingly. It's Thursday. We want you at West Craven. Friday, we want you in Farmville. So if you, to clear that up, but yes, thank you for the kind words. I'm excited. For sure. And I wanted to say happy National TV Dinner Day to you, Coach, as well. I don't know if people really do that. It feels like everybody just watches TV while they eat anyway.
There'll be a portion of your audience that I remember. I remember. You remember back in the day when those TV dinners were in foil.
Oh, yeah. You put them in the oven, yes.
They were in foil. They had the foil covering. The plate they were kind of in was in foil. And kids today have no idea about any of that. None.
That chocolate brownie thing, whatever that was.
Yep.
Or the apple, whatever that apple thing was. Yes. Ooh.
You're right.
Salisbury steak.
It brings up a lot of memories.
Not good ones, but anyway. No, some of them were good. But Coach, as always, thank you so much, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right, Mark. I appreciate
it. All right. I've got to do this. Thank you again, David Fernandez. Coach Fernandez. Always going to be Coach Fernandez. But we've got to take a break. On the other side of this, I'll come back and close down a disturbing trend we're starting to see in sports in general. But don't go anywhere. More of The Drive coming up right here.
This is The Drive.
Closing time. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
All right, we got to get out of here. Well, I got to get out of here. You can stay. In fact, I encourage you to stay on 252 Fox Sports Radio because there's more stuff. There's tons more stuff coming up. But let me do this first. Thank you, David Fernandez, for joining me as he does Wednesdays to talk a little West Craven athletics and some college and pro sports as well. Thank you so much, and thank you as well. I could not. I mean, thank you for listening as well. But yeah, 252 Fox Sports Radio listeners, yeah, come on, we got talk up until about 6:30 tonight. Then the Nationals and Marlins, some Major League Baseball. So yeah, plenty of stuff for you to indulge in. So don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. I wanted to address this real quick before I head out the door because I've seen a little bit of this. And we've all seen a little bit of this in recent times where there have been investigations on pro players. And now today a story broke where there's 3 college players who are being investigated for perhaps allegedly gambling on themselves or on their own games. Now, for years, and again, if you if you've ever listened to this show, I've been one of those Pete Rose supporters. And people often misconstrue my support for Pete Rose being in the Hall of Fame with my support of him gambling on the sport, which couldn't be further from the truth. It's the same thing when I talk about Barry Bonds or Roger Clemens, Mark McGwire, or any of the other air quotes steroid athletes of baseball who I also say should be in the Hall of Fame. And people say, well, you're just being a pro steroid guy. And I'm not. In no way, shape, or form do I think that or support that idea. What I am merely suggesting is that Hall of Fames, again, sometimes get a little full of themselves. And if you're going to really tell the story, then fine, tell the whole story and put the alleged this and the alleged that. But just never made much sense to just ban someone because you felt like they weren't worthy when, again, it feels like their sports allowed them to participate and their records still exist, etc. This is an entirely different argument, and I'm going in the wrong direction. So let's put the brakes on my Baseball Hall of Fame argument and go back to Pete Rose, because I never supported the idea that Pete Rose gambled on his team. Gambling can be a huge problem. And when the world's kind of changed a little bit, and all of a sudden North Carolina has become one of the states where you can do sports gambling, I spent quite a while just telling people, these things, which feels like I'm just being this old person and being anti-sports gambling, which I'm not being anti-sports gambling. What I am saying is that sometimes people get into gambling and can't control themselves, and they end up costing themselves their livelihoods because, again, this becomes an addictive thing where you get addicted to winning. And then here, but in this particular case, what we're seeing, and I want to kind of circle back on that. I just wanted to say, I am not pro, and especially if you're going to be an athlete or a coach involved in this, there is a question of the integrity. Now, again, when you bet on your own team, again, there's something to be said about that for sure, but you still leave things, as I said, the rules are you don't. And it doesn't make any sense for you to do it. And it feels like you have some sort of insider knowledge. And especially if you bet against your team, or in a lot of cases, what we're seeing in sports gambling is guys betting on the unders on certain things where they will get or won't get a certain amount of points or a certain amount of rebounds or a certain amount of yards. And then all of a sudden, now we're talking about guys withholding their ability to play, manipulating the game. And that does destroy the integrity of the sport for sure. So just understand that my support of Pete Rose was never about what was wrong with him. It was sort of just it had nothing to do with that. Because now when you see this now that sports gambling has become so widespread, in Pete Rose days, it was still shady. It was still bookies. It was still having to call somebody. And over the years, right, they've changed it. The term bookie turned into sports broker. And again, it has, again, evolved from something that felt like a back room situation, an under the table situation, where again, now you can just pick up your cell phone and place a bet and get that money right there in your bank account. They'll take it immediately, and they'll also send it if you want it. So this is now we have these athletes participating in these scandalous things. And my PSA is just simply this. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this to say we're going to see this. Part of it is just human nature of saying, I won't get caught. Oh, I can do this. Nobody will catch me. Part of this is why I've always thought like these Hollywood movies about bank heists, or, I mean, God forbid, I've always told people like movies like Scarface, tell me, can you show me the Hollywood movie story where the guy decides to sell, narcotics, and it's a happy ending, and Scarface lived happily ever after? No, it ends in a horrible bloodbath of things. And I'm not trying to put this on NCAA students, but the energy of what I'm saying is, if you're thinking you're one of these athletes, and I'm going to be the one, the system won't catch me, you're being a little naive. In fact, you're being a lot naive. There are people's money at stake, and they're just, again, they are paying attention. They know who's placing these bets, and when they see unusual things, it raises eyebrows. And so, as much as you think you're going to get past the system, and trust me, you're not. You're not. It's why I've always said these these people that watch these movies and say, oh, I would have gotten away with that bank heist. I would have done X. No, you wouldn't have. It's often the rarity, and it's as I said, I'm trying to laugh to lighten the mood, but there's nothing. Look, it's a serious matter, and you can not only look. This is bigger than just losing your ability to play the game. Your livelihood, if you're a professional athlete, is you can get banned from the game and unable to work. And so this rare opportunity to make professional athlete money is going to go away if you do it. And you're never going to get a chance to be a pro athlete if you get caught in college, and then all of a sudden you're red flagged right from the get-go. You might not ever have a college career from that. So it's more than that too, because if you get caught in the right situation, you can go to jail. And again, maybe for like I said, it just seems like a big cost, when here's the other part of it. And I tell this to people about, just you and me, average person. Okay. If you think you're going to go make a sports wager and then walk away from that, retiring from your job, and, you're driving the Ferraris and you've got 3 homes, I don't know what kind of fantasy land you're living in. These are small incremental gains that you're always going to make. You're not walking in. This is not the lottery. It's not you didn't win the Powerball when you get the over under right on the Eagles Chiefs game this weekend. Okay, so you'd have to put up that much money to get it. So you're already driving Ferraris and have multiple homes if you're if you're getting a payback like that. But as I said, I think this mantra, or this mentality, this sort of feeling that I could do this, I can get away with this, I can do this, and I'm going to somehow better my life. So it's going to be life-changing. It's not. It's not worth the risk, and it's certainly not going to be life-changing money. And and as I say, especially in this situation for NCAA kids right now, playing basketball, playing football, playing other things, you're being investigated for this is the first time college athletes have been able to make money while they're playing in college. So again, when is enough enough? Never when it comes to humans. But just had to point out, it's a disturbing trend that we see more. There's a story about Malik Beasley, and again, he was being investigated with the NBA. We had 2 or 3 stories like that. We've had these NCAA students. It is, as I said, you're going to see it. It's going to happen, and that should be the thing that most, if you somehow get it in your head, like, oh, we can pull this off. See these stories and see where people are not getting away with it. More importantly, what? I didn't get away with making that $2,000, $4,000, $6,000. Again, I'm not saying it's not a lot of money. It's not life-changing money. Maybe in a moment changing, but long-term, no. We got to get out of here. Tomorrow on the show, Brian North is going to join me. Until then, I hope you enjoy your Wednesday. Be safe. Thank you again, Coach Fernandez. Exciting stuff. And don't forget, Nationals tonight, 6:30 p.m. Taking on those pesky Miami Marlins. Have a great one.
The Drive with Mark Panichelli is an exclusive, original presentation of the 252 Network.